Hey, what's up? So, last week I made a video about 5 tips to improve your Swift code. And the last tip was, we could say, an introduction to enums with associated values. And I've seen in the comments that you really wanted to get more content on this topic. So here it is. This time we're going to go in depth about these enums with associated values. But before we begin, let's just remind ourselves of where we left off last time. So if you remember, I was showing this code and I was arguing that this way of implementing metadata for different kind of articles is not a great way to do it. So here, as you can see, I have an enum called article type. I have two kind of articles. They can be either written articles or videos. And then I have the metadata associated with each article. And you can see that the way it's implemented is that, well, first I have the type of the article using my enum article type. Then for all possible types, I have a string, which is a title. And then for written articles, I have a word count, which is an int. And for videos, I have a duration, which is a string. And you can see that both these properties, they are represented as optionals because, well, videos won't have a word count and articles won't have a duration. And what's bad about this code is that there is nothing that prevents me from, by mistake, well, setting a duration for a written article or not providing a word count for a written article. And what I was showing is that a great way to solve this issue in Swift is to use an enum with associated values. So remember, we said that this way of writing code is kind of bad, so we're going to just comment it out, and I'm going to paste in a better way to solve the situation. So this is what I was showing in the previous video. As you can see, now there is only one enum called metadata, and the cases, well, there is still the case article and the case video, but as you can see now there are values associated with each cases, hence the name associated values. And you can see that the article, the values are a title and the word count, and the videos, a title also, and then this time a duration. And what's great is that this time, while there is no way for us to, by mistake, put a duration for an article or put a word count for a video. It's not possible, the compiler will not allow it. So this is where we left off last time, so I'm going to just clean the code a little bit so we have a bit more space. And now I want to focus really on how we can use this kind of enums. So let's begin by trying to actually create an instance of such an enum. So I'm going to store in a variable called metadata, and let's say that I want to store a video, the metadata for a video. So I'm going to access the case just like with any other case of an enum, meaning I use the name of the enum and then the name of the case. And as you can see, I can pass arguments. So for the title of the video, well, it's just going to be my video. And for the duration, well, let's say that it's 3 minutes. And you can see that this syntax, well, in a way, it's kind of similar to just calling the initializer from a struct. So now let's take this variable and let's just print it to the console. This way we can check what is inside the variable. So I'm going to bring the console up a bit and then run the code. And so you can see that when I run the code, well, I get the name of the case and then I have the values for both the title and the duration. So that's great. The data is indeed stored inside the case. Now, how do we actually access it in code? Because if I try to access fields on the variable, you can see I can just access self, but I cannot do something like .title or .duration. So how do we access it? Well, we need to use a syntax which is called if case let. So it's a little bit clunky, but the way that we do it is that we write it like this. So name of the enum, metadata, then the name of the case we want to match against. Okay, so title and duration, and then equal and the name of our variable. And now inside the body of this if, you can see that I can indeed access, well, the title because it's a local variable, and I can also access the duration. So it's kind of similar to an iflet when you want to unwrap an optional. Here it's kind of like you want to unwrap this metadata into the content of the cases. And if I run the code, well, you can see that indeed in the variable title and duration, we do have the content that were provided when we instantiated the case of the enum. So that's the basic way of how to use associated values. As we've seen, they allow us to store data alongside the cases of an enum. To provide the data, we use this syntax right here, which is kind of similar to just initializing a struct, and then to access the data, well, we need to use this if case let syntax, which is kind of similar to accessing the content of an optional. Now, as I've said, this syntax is a little bit clunky, and there are times where, well, we might want to have some shortcuts because, for instance, it would be kind of nice if we could access the title more easily because, as you can see, well, there is a title defined for each case of the enum, and we can actually create some shortcuts for this kind of instances. So I'm going to paste in some code. So as you can see, I've just pasted an extension to the type metadata, and I have added a complete property, which is the title. And the way it's implemented is that inside it, well, I'm just switching over self, and in this case statement, I am retrieving the title, whether it's a case of article or a case of video, and I am returning the title. And now, thanks to this nice shortcut syntax, well, on my metadata, I can access the property title, and I don't have to explicitly unwrap and match the content of title to one of the cases of the enum to access this property. And it's much shorter, and it's perfectly fine to do it this way, because as we can see here, there is indeed a title provided for every possible case of the enum. So we have covered all you need to know to start using associated values, but before we end, I wanted to show you that you are actually already using such enums, maybe without knowing it. Because, well, let's take a look at an enum like optional. So if I try to check the implementation of optional, so I'm going to do this, jump to definition, well, you can see that optional is implemented as an enum, and you can see that there are two cases, case none and case some, and you can see that the content, the value that is wrapped inside an optional, it's actually implemented as an associated value. And I can also show you another example of associated value that you are probably already using without knowing it. If we check this time the result type, so once again we jump to definition, you can see that the result type it's also an enum, and both the success and failure case store the content and the error in their associated values. So as you can see, this way of writing code, it's perfectly standard in Swift, and the standard library is actually relying on it quite a bit. Alright, so that's all for this video. I hope it managed to help you. I hope that now you have a better knowledge and understanding of how associated values work and how you can use them in your code base. As always, if you have questions, remarks, or anything like this, please let me know in the comments. If you have friends that could use this video, please share it with them. Thank you for watching the video, and see you next time.